Ladies and gentlemen, back in the day when many of us were coming up, our parents had a lot cut out for them, raising a family. And, I know the cost of living was cheaper, but, many people were still struggling even then. And I don't remember my mother needing drugs or anything to get through the day with myself and my brother. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this is really interesting. They are saying thousands of moms across America are microdosing on psychedelic mushrooms to ease the stress of parenting. Mothers are turning to psychedelic mushrooms because they're having a hard time dealing with parenting. Wow. It makes you wonder, what kind of generation of people is this? Okay, so this is growing apparently in the US, and I have some audio that I want you to listen to from NPR. Support for NPR and the following message come from Jarl and Pamela Moan, thanking the people who make public radio great every day and also those who listen. Thousands of mothers have turned to taking tiny amounts of psychedelic mushrooms to relieve stress. Colorado Public Radio's Allison Sherry reports. Here in about 20 minutes. We're in a North Denver suburb, and it's really hot, just a few days before school starts. Ariel is home and cooking with her 4 children.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Pop up and just like puffs? Yeah, I almost touched the top.
Ariel went through a tough divorce in the middle of the pandemic, and like thousands of other mothers across the country, looked for something to quietly help her. But what she took may surprise you: a powdered psychedelic mushroom capsule. A therapist suggested she try natural therapies, so she turned to psychedelics and sought out a support group. Because psilocybin is still largely illegal across the country, most of the mothers wanted to use only their first names to protect their families and their professions.
I don't think that I would be nearly as present as I am right now had it not been for psychedelics and for the healing that I've gotten from it.
This burgeoning mommy microdosing movement has taken off nationally, psilocybin researchers and advocates say. There are support groups and social media followings. Moms are microdosing and doing yoga, watching Disney movies with their kids, and going to parks. The mothers I spoke to said they sought out mushrooms because they're more natural than prescription antidepressant medications, and they leave no hangover, like alcohol.
My name is Tracy T. I live in Denver, Colorado. I have one daughter, she's 11, and I am the steward of Moms on Mushrooms, which...
T was a critically acclaimed comedian who lost her business during the pandemic. She was also struggling with motherhood, watching her daughter at home all the time, unhappily clocking in to online school. T took a course about microdosing, which she calls her medicine, and she says it changed her life. She now runs support groups for mothers specifically embarking on that experience. She says microdosing helps moms sit with their stress and problems, not run away from them.
And we've moved past, I think, wanting to guzzle 5 bottles of wine. We're craving something deeper, and we're definitely craving community.
Research is ongoing across the world on the benefits of psilocybin among people with treatment-resistant depression and PTSD. Numerous studies have found that it helps those problems. The FDA has actually granted it breakthrough therapy status. All that said, less is known about taking tinier doses of psychedelics.
People who are microdosing, what I would say is that they're basically experimenting on themselves.
Dr. Josh Woolley is a psychiatry professor at the University of California, San Francisco. He is currently overseeing a psilocybin clinical trial among healthy adults. I asked him whether it's okay for people taking care of children to take a psychedelic mind-altering drug.
It's not so dangerous that it would be so obvious, but we really don't have good epidemiological studies. Are there any bad outcomes? Are there good outcomes? So there's still a lot of work to be done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that, right? So these women don't even want to give their full names because they fear getting arrested because this is illegal. But they're doing it anyway to, as they put it, take the stress off
of dealing with parenthood. And wow, you know, I'm a parent, and I never thought about taking drugs to get through, mushrooms or anything, any drug for that matter, to get through the day. You know, I don't know that maybe I'm off track, but that just sounds weak. So, ladies and gentlemen, they're saying, you know, this is actually spreading across the country, this microdosing. So, as you heard, that doctor was saying that, you know, these people are essentially experimenting on themselves, you know? So, it, could this be dangerous? Well, I'm sure it depends on what amount they're taking. And you're dealing with your kids on top of that. See, they didn't want to give their names because they fear the police showing up and possibly them getting in trouble with the law. That's why they didn't want to give their name. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely a very different generation of mothers out here. All right, so Dr. Epperson is known internationally, and she's known for women's health. So she said she is sympathetic to motherhood, especially today, and she hopes everyone treads carefully and on replacing psychedelics with known treatments for anxiety and depression. Well, it don't sound like these women are looking for anything other than what they're doing. And I feel like we have to slow down and do research before just all of us sudden start opening up to all these treatment centers and saying, we know what we're doing. Would you do that if it was cancer? I don't think so. So, microdosing mushrooms is different than they're saying it's way different than taking a larger dose of it, you know, where you're actually tripping. Because, you know, look, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that you can watch of people high right there on the video. And some of them are using these mushrooms. And you can see they definitely, you know, go off in some fantasy land when they're on these drugs. So they said some have even gone off of their antidepressants and anti anxiety drugs once they start microdosing with the mushrooms. Mm-mm-mm. So who knows what this will lead to? You know, who knows? But we shall see. I had no idea this was even going on in the country, but hey, you learn something new every day. So they said there is something deeper. Researchers are looking at the lack of structural support for women, or maybe too much pressure on parents in today's time. Major depressive disorder is currently the leading cause of disease, burdening women internationally. The moms making these decisions to microdose, though, say they aren't necessarily trying to escape, but the psychedelics allow them to be better in the present. Okay, I mean, y'all, just tell me what you think. How would you feel if you were still a child and your mom was microdosing on mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms? I couldn't even imagine it. I would wonder why she would need to do it. But I guess we're all different. So this is another growing trend happening across America. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.